Hey everyone, you're listening to Concentrates with Dr. T, a podcast discussing cannabis science and business. This podcast is published on YouTube and Spotify. Please follow me on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Discord. The information can be found in the description below. Please like and comment with any questions about cannabis you have. This is the final installment of my in-depth look at Delta-8 THC. Thank you for joining me today. We'll get started shortly. Welcome back to Concentrates with Dr. T. We're continuing our in-depth look at Delta-8 THC. Let's jump right in. Now that I've made it clear that you should stay away from Delta-8 products, let's talk about the potential medical uses and other pharmacological aspects of Delta-8 THC. In a pure form, Delta-8 THC is the same whether it was synthetically derived or produced naturally. Please do not think that I am any way saying that it is okay to produce or consume synthetic Delta-8 THC. I'm simply saying that in the theoretical situation where you have 100% pure Delta-8 THC, it does not matter where you get it from. It will have the same chemical properties and pharmacological effects. In real life, where you get it from does matter because it will not be 100% pure, and the amount and identity of the contaminants can have profound consequences to your health. In fact, just to harp on this further, heavy metals have been found to contaminate Delta-8 THC products available in stores. The majority of research into Delta-8 has focused on its binding affinity for various receptors, including CB1 and CB2 receptors. This information is all academically interesting and can give indications of potential medical uses, but actual medical research into Delta-8 THC is almost non-existent. That said, users of Delta-8 THC have reported medicinal benefits. I will summarize the anecdotal medical uses for Delta-8 THC now. Pain relief. Delta-8 THC appears to have anti-inflammatory properties, and many people report that it provides relief from chronic pain conditions such as arthritis, neuropathy, and multiple sclerosis. Anxiety and stress relief. Delta-8 THC has been reported to produce a calming effect, making it appealing for individuals suffering from anxiety and stress disorders. Appetite stimulation. Delta-8 THC has been shown to stimulate appetite, which can be beneficial for individuals with eating disorders, cancer patients undergoing chemotherapy, or individuals who have difficulty maintaining a healthy weight. Nausea and vomiting relief. Delta-8 THC has been reported to reduce nausea and vomiting, making it a potential treatment option for patients undergoing chemotherapy or suffering from gastrointestinal disorders. And finally, recreation. We've already talked about the fact that Delta-8 THC can be used recreationally for its mild high and relaxation effects. It is often consumed in the form of edibles, vape cartridges, and tinctures. It's important to note that there has been no use of Delta-8 THC reported that either Delta-9 THC or Marinol cannot accomplish. So the need for Delta-8 THC to be available in addition to Delta-9 for these purposes is unclear to me at this point. That said, further research is needed to see if there are any novel medical uses for Delta-8. For example, does it have potential for treating any cancers, infectious diseases, or chronic inflammatory conditions? Let's move on to the legal and regulatory status of Delta-8 THC. This is a complicated topic, so bear with me as I go through some important information before I give my opinion on its legal status. That's right, opinion, because that's all anyone can have about the matter. People who claim that the 2018 Farm Bill legalized Delta-8 quickly forget that the federal government is a large and complex patchwork of law and regulation. No single law exists in isolation to all of the others. So while the Farm Bill may seem to indicate that Delta-8 THC is a legal substance to possess and sell, other laws and federal agencies may say otherwise. One final disclaimer. Even if synthetic Delta-8 THC is legal to produce and sell for human consumption due to a legal loophole or gray area, the entire industry is currently at risk because at any time the federal government can decide to update laws to make it 100% clear that synthetic Delta-8 and/or Delta-8 in general is illegal to sell for human consumption, or even at all. That said, let's take an in-depth look at the legal landscape and where this gray area might lie. Everyone agrees that hemp and marijuana were federally illegal prior to 2018. Everyone seems to agree that Delta-9 THC in concentrations greater than 0.3% and plants that produce high concentrations of Delta-9 THC still remain illegal under the Controlled Substances Act. Where things start to get interesting is in the definition of hemp introduced in the 2018 Farm Bill, which is as follows. 1. Hemp. The term hemp means the plant Cannabis sativa L and any part of that plant, including the seeds thereof, and all derivatives, extracts, cannabinoids, isomers, acids, salts, and salts of isomers, whether growing or not, with a Delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol concentration of not more than 0.3% on a dry weight basis. So, as long as the hemp or its derived products contain less than 0.3% THC on a dry weight basis, it is legal to possess and sell in interstate commerce. I think we all still agree. The definition also says that any part of the plant, including all derivatives, extracts, cannabinoids, isomers, acids, salts, and salts of isomers, are now legal. Since Delta-8 THC is a cannabinoid found in hemp, it is legal. So I think we all still agree that Delta-8 THC extracted from hemp is a legal substance. In order to avoid any conflict with the DEA's Controlled Substances Act, or CSA, the bill also included the following change to the CSA. B. Tetrahydrocannabinol, Schedule 1, as set forth in Section 202C of the Controlled Substances Act, 21 U.S.C. 812C, is amended in subsection C17 by inserting after tetrahydrocannabinols the following: except for tetrahydrocannabinols in hemp as defined under Section 297A of the Agricultural Marketing Act of 1946. This further clarifies that the cannabinoid Delta-8 THC is legal when found in hemp, but this is where differing opinions on the legality of selling Delta-8 THC for human consumption come in. I already talked ad nauseum about the fact that all Delta-8 THC available for sale is synthetically produced from CBD. Some say that because the synthetically produced Delta-8 is derived from hemp-made CBD and is itself a cannabinoid found in hemp, it is legal to sell for human consumption. However, others argue that the source of the raw materials does not matter when you use a chemical transformation to create a product. Using chemical reactions to produce it makes it a synthetic product by definition. Further, this Delta-8 THC was not found in hemp and then extracted and purified. It was synthetically produced. Even assuming that it is legal to possess and manufacture synthetic Delta-8 THC, it is yet another assumption that you can sell it for the purpose of human consumption. If they were producing it and selling it as paint thinner, I might agree that could be legal for that purpose. However, once you are talking about putting something on or in the human body, the FDA is now involved and has the legal authority over the substance. In fact, the architects of the Farm Bill intended for the FDA to step in and choose how to regulate CBD and other hemp-derived products intended for human consumption. The FDA did immediately name certain parts of the hemp plant as generally recognized as safe or grass for human consumption, namely the seeds and seed oils which have been used as a food source for millennia. But this does not mean that you can use any other part of the plant for human consumption. So I would argue that the FDA could consider Delta-8 THC, whether natural or synthetic, as an adulterant in a food, cosmetic, or dietary supplement product. I suppose the problem with looking at it like that is that CBD itself could also be considered an adulterant and illegal to sell for human consumption. It appears the FDA isn't opposed to this outcome because there is evidence of liver damage that can be caused by CBD, and the long-term effects of its consumption have never been investigated. As of now, the FDA and DEA have not stopped anyone from simply selling Delta-8 THC regardless of its source. The only action the FDA has taken is to send warning letters to companies who are making medical claims when selling their CBD, hemp, and Delta-8 THC products. You can't say that your product will treat depression or cure cancer. That makes it an unapproved drug product, and the FDA can, will, and has come down on companies for that. The DEA either believes that they do not have authority over Delta-8 THC, or they are reticent to put agency resources toward prosecuting manufacturers of Delta-8 THC products. With the nationwide fentanyl crisis going on, it is understandable that the DEA would prioritize that problem over the far less deadly sale of Delta-8 THC products. While it was anticipated that the FDA would make a decision about whether to regulate CBD, Delta-8, and other hemp products as either foods or dietary supplements, they have so far declined to do so and instead have sought to obtain new regulatory powers from Congress. This is unprecedented for the FDA to have to create an entirely new regulatory framework to deal with a single plant. It gets me asking, what the hell are they thinking? Hemp is a plant, just like all of the other plants that are used to produce food and supplements in the United States. So here's where we get to my opinion on the current legal status of Delta-8 THC, and also how I think all of this should be dealt with. In my opinion, the FDA and DEA have plenty of legal and regulatory authority to shut down synthetic Delta-8 production and sale for human consumption. It is clearly a synthetic product that, even if legal to possess, it is not legal to add it to foods or supplements, or to sell for inhalation. The FDA could see it as a synthetic adulterant and proceed accordingly. Also, no one is manufacturing Delta-8 THC in a GMP-certified facility. So even if you assume synthetic Delta-8 THC was legal to add to food, the companies are still producing it illegally by failing to properly implement good manufacturing practices. Finally, any manufacturers of Delta-8 products are at risk of Congress updating the laws to clarify that it is illegal. Technically, at any time the DEA could decide to start enforcing against it as a Schedule I drug as well. It remains to be seen whether they have an appetite to test this authority in court. Then there is the added complication that many states are banning Delta-8 THC from sale because of the federal government's failure to intervene. This means that even if proponents of Delta-8 are right that they are operating in a legitimate loophole federally, state laws may be broken by selling the products online. At least 14 states have made Delta-8 THC illegal, including Colorado, Oregon, and Washington. These states have obviously moved quickly to protect their regulated Delta-9 industries. The final point I would like to make is that the FDA already has all of the tools it needs to regulate hemp products as either food products or dietary supplements. It should spend the necessary resources to create a framework that allows for the sale of cannabinoids that have been extracted from hemp, but not cannabinoids that are synthetically produced. Hemp is a plant just like every other plant that falls under the FDA's authority. They need to figure out how to regulate it from that perspective. They should not be given any additional authority to regulate hemp or hemp products in any special way. Right now, the message they are sending is, "We're confused, so give us more power." That doesn't make any sense. They can regulate the hemp products as foods, drugs, or dietary supplements. If there's any scenario that they cannot account for under current law, they should seek to have Congress clarify or make additional laws to address those points of confusion. Not seek to be granted, as of yet, undefined more power. CBD and other cannabinoids extracted from hemp should be allowed for human consumption, while synthetic Delta-8 should not. There is some evidence that CBD may cause liver damage, and the FDA is using this as an excuse to not consider it a food or supplement. However, we just recently learned that the popular keto diet sugar alternative and GRAS substance, erythritol, can double your chance of a stroke. This substance has been widely used for 30 years, increasing people's risk of stroke dramatically, and the FDA has taken no action to end its sale or revoke its GRAS status. It is unclear why the FDA is so willing to give GRAS status to a chemical like erythritol, but so reluctant to grant that status to CBD, which so far has not demonstrated any such harm to consumers. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you learned something new, and please remember to like and follow. Peace.